Hello, good day, good afternoon to all the children in the world, global. I'm writer. My name is Friederike von Reden. I'm living in Germany, and it is a pleasure and an honor to read to you today. I dedicated a book, a fairy tale containing 3 episodes, a trilogy, to a little boy some years ago. And then one day I decided to print it and also to publish it in German. In the year 23 to 24, I also translated it into English. And now it's your turn. This is the book in the English version, and I would love to read to you today just some pages. The title is The Little Princess, Adventure, Magic, Sorcery. It's about a very curious little girl. But not only girls play a major role in this story, the fantasy story, also other children, 2 boys named Redhead and Hieronymus. And the girl we are putting the emphasis on today is called Rose-Petal. She's a little princess living with her old father in a castle overlooking the ocean. He's a widower and he is so happy to have his little girl because the mother is not there anymore. So I just start reading for you, and please take a seat and maybe you have a little drink, like, I don't know, whatsoever, a water or a juice or a warm tea. We are now in the winter time. Maybe you like to listen to me. I love to entertain you. The Little Princess, about adventure, magic, and sorcery. First chapter. The story of how pirates try to attack the royal castle in the harbor of Königshausen. Once upon a time, in a far, far away land, there was an old king who lived together with his beautiful little daughter, Princess Rose-Petal. He resided in a castle perched on the top of a mountain overlooking the deep blue ocean. The king, in his old age, greatly enjoyed his daytime naps. It might have been about 3 o'clock, roundabout, in the afternoon, when somebody was knocking on the door. The old king was sleeping as usual. As he had problems with his ears, he was not able to listen properly and didn't notice anything. Due to his loud snoring, even the second try of knocking on his door had been in vain. After the third try, when again the fragile fingers of his daughter, Princess Rose-Petal, were knocking on the door to his throne room, and this time a bit stronger, the sleeping king woke up and opened his eyes slowly. Still sleepy, he then said, "Who's there? Who is going to wake me up? Come in now." While the door was carefully opened, the pretty little face of his daughter, Princess Rose-Petal, peeked in, seeing who had awoken him. The old king softened his tone and said, "Come in, my dear." She smiled and gracefully slipped into her father's room. She dropped a curtsy and addressed herself towards him with soft words. Sorry. "Dear father, excuse me for disturbing you. I wanted to ask for your permission to climb to the top of one of the castle's 2 towers today." The old king was rather intrigued by such a request, answered his daughter with a couple of questions. Are you absolutely sure you want to climb this tower today? All these many... Hold on. All these many steps, which are so steep. And why would you want to go all the way up there anyway? Must it be today? And my dear, why are you in such a haste that you must wake me up now? Well, father, you know, dear, it has been weeks since we had such a beautiful sunny day, and I have never seen the view from the top of the tower. I thought it would be the most perfect day to enjoy the view, which you yourself said was one of the best, far and wide, in the world of and in the whole of the country. Sorry, the best, far and wide, in the whole of the country. I so want to see all the ships and boats as they pass by beneath the castle walls. Well, yes, replied the king, it's a lovely day, and the view will indeed be splendid. That is certainly reason enough for you to want to climb the tower. Well, if that is indeed your wish, I will grant it to you, but only on two conditions. The first is that you are only allowed to climb one of the two towers. Under no circumstances are you allowed to climb the second one. The second is that you might not climb up alone. Your lady-in-waiting and a valet will accompany you all along the way to the tower's roof, my dear. What you are about can be dangerous. Don't forget that in the tower it is dark and cold, and that the steps are worn down and very narrow, and the climb is steep. The valet will need a lantern to light your way as the three of you climbed the tower together. The king then called for his private secretary and gave him permission to give the key for the tower door to his daughter, Princess Rose-Petal. Shortly thereafter, the key was brought to the king's room. The young princess beamed with glee as it was placed in her hand. She was already half dreaming of the adventure that lay ahead of her. As she had never been on the rooftop of this tower in her life before, her dream and ardent desire should come through on this now gloriously sunny day, and her wish was about to become true. One moment. As agreed, the young princess, together with her lady-in-waiting and the valet, made their way through the palace towards the tower, who already had a lamp in his hand while opening the old rusty door lock, were accompanying her. Inside the tower it was dark and cold, as the old king had already told her, and Princess Rose-Petal was quite thankful for all the advices her father had given her. The valet carefully held his lantern up high in order to light their way up the stairs, as so they could easily and safe walk up the 223 steps on the way upstairs to the top of the tower. After the first 100 steps or stairs, the three paused for a few moments, able to see the daylight from the outside through a small gap in the tower wall, which had once upon a time been used by archers for their arrows. The view was just teeny reward compared to what awaited them at the end of their long climb ahead. "Oh, look, From up there it is already such a wonderful view, cried Rose-Petal enthusiastically, as her older attendants tried to catch their breath. The young Princess Rose-Petal didn't want to stay any longer and went on to continue her way step by step upstairs. She could hardly wait to enjoy the view. After further more steps, they again came upon a second small gap in the tower's old wall. Their climb almost over, there remained just 23 steps more before they reached their goal. Nonetheless, the young princess could not resist stopping her climb to once again peep through the opening. The sea and its shores, appearing closer from the height, were in full view. Her excitement only grew as she completed the climb, and finally, though somewhat out of breath, she arrived at the top of the tower. At long last, the old valet caught a pun with the princess, dabbing his forehead dry with his handkerchief, slightly out of breath, and actually a little tired from the long climb. When at least he finally arrived up there, he intended to open the turret door immediately. The old valet knew the little princess could hardly wait to leave the dark, old, cold tower after the tiring climbing. All she was looking for was to be up in the air and enjoy the outstanding view. So she had his very best to please her. So he did his very best to please her. By slowly lifting the turret door, the light, warm sunshine put its sunbeam on their heads. First, the young princess went on the rooftop, followed by her lady-in-waiting and the old valet. "Oh, how wonderful! Look, this panoramic view is... Look at the sea and the many vessels. That's exactly how I imagined this place." She felt so much joy at once. Out of the clear blue sky, a strong gust blew from the seaside, blowing the long auburn hair of the young princess all over her face. She tried to brush her hair out of her face with her hands. However, repeatedly it blew in front of her eyes, preventing her from seeing all the beauty there was to see. Losing her patience, she gathered her hair into a ponytail with her hand, thinking to herself, "I'm soon going to cut all my hair off." She had to slowly turn her head from left to right in order not to miss seeing anything interesting. Large sailing boats, trading vessels, and other little ships were passing by Königshausen's castle. Some of them were sailing directly into the harbor, others were on their way to far away places, and still others were just sailing out of the harbor. The sun rays played on the water's surface, and the strong wind caused the waves to ripple, creating white caps on the rolling waves. This afternoon was one of the most beautiful days of the summer. The sky was blue and the air was clear despite the strong wind that blew in from the sea. However, I just drink a little tea. However, the warm breeze was so pleasant, it put all three of them into a happy mood. From time to time, the blaring noise of a ship's horn announcing its arrival into the harbor could be heard. It was a truly glorious sunny afternoon. Whilst watching the maritime scene below, Princess Rose-Petal sighted three large sailing boats on the horizon, heading directly to the harbor of Königshausen. She grabbed her binocular for a better view and then said, "Oops, what is that? What flags, which kind of flags are those sailing boats waving? Have a look, please," she asked her lady-in-waiting, who took it immediately, and some seconds later she screamed, "Oh my God! These are... The words failed her for a moment. Those are what? What are you saying? Sorry. What are those? Tell me, what do you mean? The princess asked her immediately and impatiently. Well, if I am correct in what I'm saying and seeing these sailing boats approaching on our harbor, waving flags skull criss-cross by bones, those boats, my dear princess, do not portend anything good. Nothing good? What do you mean? What does this all mean? Asked the distraught princess. My princess, those flags do not announce anything good. Her lady-in-waiting answered anxiously, while she looked serious and full of sorrow at the same time at her protégée. Nothing good? What do you mean? What does it tell us? Asked the concerned princess. Well, your highness, those arriving sailing boats are pirates. The nervous lady-in-waiting stuttered. Oh my God! Yes, now I believe it. I believe it is. What you say? As the ships came nearer, the princess could see them without her binoculars. They were heading straight for the harbor. Very, very quick. Come on, quickly. We mustn't waste any time. We have to go to my father immediately and tell him what is going on. The princess urged the others. The old, faithful valet rushed the two ladies back to the tower, quickly opened the door and made haste to lighten the dark passage as all three scurried down the stairs. They quickly reached the bottom of the tower, far quicker than it took them to walk up all the 323 stairs. Having reached their last step at the bottom, the old valet swiftly pushed open the creaking, heavy wooden door, and then Princess Rose-Petal ran as fast as she could across the courtyard of the castle to reach the wing wherein her father resided. She ran as fast as she could. She crossed many rooms until she arrived in front of her father's door, leading to the throne room. For this time, since rushing down the tower steps, she stopped to catch her breath. Courageously, she knocked at the door. The old king was sleeping already, as usual, and she could hear his snoring from behind the door. Slowly she walked on tiptoe into the throne room, not to concern her father too much. His private secretary was sitting on one of the many red velvet chairs and was also sleeping. Heavens! The princess thought. What is happening in my kingdom? Nobody is aware of the approaching danger, of the arriving of the pirates. They are all sleeping in my country. What's going on here? But me, I'm aware of the danger. I'm the only one. I must wake my father up, otherwise we will be lost. It seems as if Königshausen has sunk into a deep slumber. Father, please wake up. We are facing a great deal of danger in this moment, she whispered in his ear, shaking his arm, trying to wake him up. Please wake up. Finally, the king yawned himself awake and said, What is the matter, daughter? You again. Why do you wake me up? Today is Sunday, and today I do not rule my country. Let me sleep, please. I am old enough and I may do this, so please. Come back tomorrow and let me be alone in peace. The old king tried to convince her honestly. In vain. Listen, father. If I tell you the situation, this actual situation is serious. Very, very serious. Our kingdom is facing a great danger. There are 3 pirate boats sailing directly towards our harbor to invade our country and steal everything. Please try to understand, even if I would love to let you sleep, but we are in a serious situation. Please call for your private secretary. He should immediately send the message to our fleet admiral. Our navy has to be alarmed. Please, father, wake up and listen to me. She insisted impatiently on him. What you say? What you say? Rose-Petal? Pirates are going to capture our harbor now? On this beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon, without any forewarning. The king was suddenly wide awake and very alert. That sounds like a surprise attack. If this is true, Rose-Petal, then of course we have to take immediate action, he replied to his daughter. At once he ordered his private secretary, who had woken up but still felt terribly drowsy, to summon Admiral Moustache instantly. The fleet admiral appeared without delay, beckoned to enter the king's room. He had been informed in the meantime about the arriving pirates and had put his fleet into readiness in standby to defend the harbor and the coast. The king, having greeted Admiral Moustache with a most concerned look, gave his orders in a stern voice. Now, Fleet Admiral Moustache, you must do everything possible to keep my kingdom and my people safe from any pirate attack. Prepare your men to guard the harbor from any possible invasion. Hurry up! We shall not lose any time. Send your navy boats to banish them from the sea near our coast. Had it not been for the princess, this kingdom would already come under attack by these wicked pirates. I order you now, as king of this country, to protect us all. Your men shall at every moment and with no interruption take care of our coast and being in charge of the guard turrets. So, my dear children, I hope you enjoyed this little part of the episode number 1, the first chapter, and I hope to meet you soon again. Bye bye. If you ever would love to read it in English, you can get this English version on Amazon, right? Goodbye and have a nice afternoon.